Okay, we'll have you introduce yourself and the film that you're from, and let you guys take over.
Hi, I'm Jordana Spiro. I'm the director of Skin. And Naomi. Naomi Spiro, the editor of Skin.
I'm Sophie Goyette, the director of Le Futur, Proche, the near future.
Robert Machoian from the movies made from home.
Herbert, producer of Volume.
I'm Mahalia, Belo, the director of Volume.
I'm Sébastien, Aubert, the producer of Social Butterfly from France.
I'm Ulysse Grosjean, actor in Social Butterfly.
I'm Wolkstein, the director of Social Butterfly.
I'm Claris, actress in Social Butterfly.
The rest of our French team is in the back there, all of them.
Bonsoir les Françaises.
I have a question to the, I'm sorry I don't remember the title of the film, but very short film with a Studio 430.
Oh.
That's you. Why did you choose the font for that particular font? Because basically I was not able to read the entire.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, I have a fantasy of being able to shoot on film. I shot on film in the early period of making movies, and then it got way too expensive. But I still wanted to have a hands-on relationship with these pieces, so I hand wrote it myself and scanned it and interwoven. So it was kind of an attempt to still have that relationship as I would with film if I was able to scratch it in, and also to have more of my hand in the work.
Other question?
Was there truth behind the stories and
They're more metaphors than they are true, I guess. My dad, that's my dad. He is in his early 60s, and we had discussions about death and kind of the paranoia. He is working out to get in shape. He would never be able to do an Ironman, but he does fantasize about it. So there are elements of truth in that, in those kind of elements, but not real.
Actually, I have two questions and a comment. What were your inspirations for that film? Like, did you have any inspirations from like other films for yours?
I was mainly, to be honest, I was mainly inspired by Vincent Gallo, who did a film called Buffalo 66 and then another film called Brown Bunny. And they did a film called Promises Written in Water that played at Venice, and he got attacked for making this movie that he said he really loved. He just wanted to make a movie that he liked. And then he said no one would ever see it, ever again, because he was so hurt. And that hurt me because I'm a huge fan and I'll probably never get to see that work. And so it made me really want to make a series of work that I really, really liked. And I wish filmmakers would share those, because most of the time we're all trying to make films, hopefully, that we like, but also that will encourage someone to give us money to make a feature. Because that's what we want to do. And I wanted to reverse the process, make a film maybe that I knew everyone might hate, but if I really, really loved it, that would be a success.
Did you have any intention on making like a full-length feature?
No, I've just been making them. I have 18 right now, and I just keep making them over time, and they're shot around my neighborhood.
That's cool. And then I guess I just had a comment, like, seeing the movie Each Moment Comes Bien, it just reminded me of like that intermittent spoken narration that just adds like this melancholy poignance to it that I just really liked about yours, like as it's written. So it was kind of like kind of adapt to me. So it was really cool. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
So, for sure.
Thank you.
water, either pools or ponds. And so this is a question for multiple people up there. What is your feeling on the symbolism or the metaphor? Or what is the meaning of water in your film for you?
Well, for volume, for me, the idea for the film came from a photograph, which was a girl lying on a pool, like in the film, but it's vertical as opposed to horizontal, so it's this wall of water. And so the whole thing sprung from this image and thinking about this image and wondering, you know, what would happen if that wall of water kind of fell down on her. You know, what is that story and who's looking at that image as well? And so the character of Sam developed from that. For me, water is, this film is about Sam being completely in a bubble. He kind of can't break out of that bubble, and when you're in a pool, it's almost like that as well. So I suppose there's lots of different meanings, I think, that can come from that, but also work with us with the sound, because you're kind of sheltered, but you also kind of, you can't hear everyone clearly, so it linked up really well for us. Who else has water?
I centered the story around the pool actually because I wanted to write a film where the climax of what happened, the discovery in the film happens underwater, where these two characters know secrets about each other underwater and nobody else knows it within a party. And I guess that's, I don't know, this idea of like revealing secrets underwater is really fascinating to me.
I just like the way it looks underwater, and it's just a different experience and a way to, you know, cleanse yourself and forgive yourself and just experience, you know, life in a different way, and it just looks nice.
In the very back.
So my question is for Skin, really beautifully done, and I'm curious about the inspiration behind that story. Very, very unique love story. And also, how you went about casting that young boy. He was amazing.
Thank you. Well, for me, I was just interested in the idea that one person can think they're doing the most beautiful thing for somebody, and it can actually be perceived as the most cruel thing. And I think I've felt that way, and I know others who have felt that way, so I felt like that might be something that would resonate as it did with me. And so that was just sort of the theme that I found that I wanted to explore. And then casting, I was telling you guys the story earlier this morning, but it was pretty extensive. We tried to go the kind of the normal route at first, just going to the casting directors that we knew and doing kind of the, you know, casting breakdowns and all this stuff, and going out to child actors. And everybody that came in was just really kind of polished and creamed and a little bit sheltered, and wonderful, wonderful kids, but they didn't really feel like they've actually been through stuff. And I felt like the kid needed that for it to be sort of authentic, what he does in the film, and for that to be believable. And so then you just start, you know, like passing by playgrounds and looking like crazy, and wanting to stop every kid that passes you and talk to them, and then their parents like look at you weird, and you say, "No, I promise, I'm from a film school," and they get away from my child. But I think I remember our producer at one point, like for a casting session, put skincasting@gmail, meet us at this hotel. And I was like, I feel like maybe we should change that. And then a week before we were filming, we started to get a little bit anxious because we knew that the film rested on this kid, and we hadn't found the kid. And to me, I just sort of felt like there's really no point to shoot it if he wasn't right. And then we were driving and location scouting and hoping he would sort of fall in our laps, and he did. He was just playing in the traffic, essentially. And we pulled over. I was with my DP, and I pulled over, and I got out of the car, and he's sort of a burly Mexican guy, so I was like, maybe you should wait. And I spoke to the kid, and within a few minutes, I just knew that I wanted him to be in the film, and I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, my question is for volume. That was the last film. So, okay, cool. I'm guessing here, but it looked like it was shot on film stock rather than digital. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you choose, with digital being easier for so many reasons, especially in the indie short film area, why did you choose to shoot on film?
Well, this film was our graduation film from film school. We got £10,000 to make the film. And which is £16,000 something. Maybe 80%, I have no idea. But yeah, and I just kind of thought it might be my last chance, really, to have a go at it. And it's so beautiful. Really, like just the process of shooting on film. Because I shot digitally before I went to film school. I made 3-minute films for as little money as I could. And the process of making film on film is you have to decide what you want to do. You can't mess about. And you just learn so much doing things that way. And I think because it was our final, we wanted to just take some risks, you know, but also for it to be kind of a piece that we would all be really proud of. And I think in 35, I think we are, and the cinematographer got a chance to shoot 35, and it's her grad film as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, also a question for volume. What was the shooting schedule? I'm just curious how long it took and where you shot it.
We had 7 days to shoot it, and we shot in 3 different locations. So all of those locations you see are actually in completely different parts of England, and put together in post. But because the locations were so far apart, we actually had quite a lot of time travelling. So it was significantly less than 7 days in the end, I think.
It was really tight, basically. Yeah, a lot of patient actors and people, crew, runners, brilliant runners.
Amazing runners.
Yeah, who did it all for free. You know, everyone worked for free, so yeah.
Our parents.
Brought cake.
Just 2 more questions. Here you got one. Okay. You have really remarkable sound design. Was that scripted, or was that something that came out in post?
It was scripted, a lot of it, because of the nature of the story. But there are moments in it that came out in seeing as the edit was doing sound design and spot things, I would spot things. The fight, for example. The fight, I hadn't realised actually that the hearing aid had fallen out. But the editor and the sound designer spotted it and went, it's fallen out. So it changed that whole scene. You know? And that, yeah, it was them really that saw them.
It's a question for Social Butterfly. Really beautiful piece. But I did have questions about, like, what did you want the audience to feel, and because there were like themes of like new experience and the, like the secrets underwater, like you were saying. But what did you want the audience to feel from their interaction?
That's a good question. I don't know. How did you feel? I wanted to make a story about somebody who wanted to be like somebody else, and this girl, this American girl, really wants to fit in and be a part of this party, while the other girl whose birthday it is doesn't want this party and kind of wishes she was like the other girl. So I kind of wanted to play on identity and how these 2 characters wish they were the other person, and then they flip roles and see that they don't wish that at all. And by the end, you see that Chloe, the birthday girl, goes back to all of her friends, and the other girl's left alone. And so they both are in those roles that they wish they had, and the main girl doesn't want to be that person anymore. So I don't know that that answers your question.
Great.
But it's whatever you want to feel.
Thank you very much.